as promised, I'm privileged to have sat next to me Dave Hill's sister Carol, and thanks for doing this, Carol.
Oh, it's lovely.
Great, our first film on Mick Ronson was sort of like heavily focused on his upbringing in Greatfield. It's a whole council estate, and I'd like to carry that theme on. Well, because you and Dave were brought up on a very similar estate, weren't you? Warstones.
Yes, Warstones Estate, Penn, Wolverhampton.
And I had a look at it on Google Earth, and it's almost identical to Greatfield. They must be 1950s.
Yeah.
And I've got I'll show you. Dave's brilliant autobiography. Yeah, it's so good. It's so entertaining, funny, honest, just like the man himself. And on page 2, he has a little description of his upbringing. And he says, for all the success I've got, the places I went, the things I saw, it was never about escaping from home. In fact, I'm still there now, pretty much, a stone's throw from where I grew up. And I don't think I've changed much from the kid who grew up on that council estate. For all the money and the fame that's come and gone, and come again, I've still got the same values I had then, which was fantastic. And he goes on to say that he loved living on the estate. I just found... Yeah, I loved our estate, he says. It was very friendly. We were all in it together. If anybody was ill, everybody rallied round. People would fetch each other's washing in, and if it rained, you knew everybody's business. It was that wartime spirit carried on into the post-war world, I suppose, a real sense of community. There wasn't much money about, so that community spirit was massively important. Everybody looked after one another. It's a bit of a cliche now, but you genuinely did leave the door unlocked. You never even thought about it. It was a great place to grow up. Well, I'd like to ask you, Carol, have you got the same feelings as Dave about that? Was it a great place to grow up?
Exactly. I didn't know the war. I was born in 49, Dave was 46. That was after the war as well, wasn't it? We were just all in it together. There was no I have better than you. We never heard anything about that, because basically we all had, I won't say nothing, that would be horrible for our parents, very little, but we had each other, we had our friendships, we had movement, although I'm going to have to swing back to when I was 4 years old. I was kidnapped. I've thrown that story a bit.
Yeah, I want to hear about that later on. Yeah.
Okay, it had a happy ending, I'm still here. But it was just a community spirit. We never knew anything different. Everything we did together. We had paint pots that our fathers would turn upside down, put holes in, and we had strings in them, and we stood on them, and it was like... The old version of the platform shoe.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah.
Which brings me to the story of the platform. But do you want to talk about that later?
No, what's that?
My brother came home and he said he's quite diddy like me. I hope he wouldn't mind me saying that, but he is. He's small but powerful and beautiful. And he came home one day and he said, look, I've got these... he had heels. Men had heels on their boots then. He said, is there something that... I don't want a high boot like that. And I said, why don't we think back to our paint tins when we used to walk on them with our just the front of our feet usually, walk like that on them. I said, why couldn't we build up the sole? Yeah. Because that way... it would make the heel seem smaller, so you're not walking on a great high heel. Because I used to have 5-inch high heels when I was walking forward all the time. So that basically is what happened. I do believe my brother went and got hold of somebody who made shoes, and he had some made. I'm not going to say it's the very first pair, because I don't know. But it was the birth of the platform then. So around that time.
Yeah, it's
I
interesting.
didn't get any royalties for it.
There was I've just been reading the other day. I've got this book about the Beatles, what the clothes they used to wear in the really early days in Hamburg. And one of them went out and saw some cowboy boots, right? And they had wooden high heels in those days. And then they used to go on stage in these cowboy boots, and the stage was wooden as well. And he used to stomp like that, and that was their signature.
Brilliant.
Yeah. And it said in the book, it was 10 years before Slade, because that's what Slade were doing. Banging like that on the wood on wood.
Yeah.
And that was their sound, wasn't it? Stomping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the stomp, but it was the clap for me.
Well, yeah.
Well, he brought a demo disc home and he said, I want you to listen to this. So into the front room on my dad's rigonda, on went the demo disc, and it was 'Cause I Love You. And when it finished, he said, what do you think? And I said, I honestly think that'll be number one, Dave. And he went, oh, Carol, you're my sister. Come on, just tell me honestly how you felt. I said, I really do think it'll be number one, and I'll tell you why, because I love that. The clap. I said, I can't believe that clap pierced me. Now, he told me how it happened. I think it was a corridor clapping it.
Yeah.
Do you know about that? Okay.
Well, no, the viewers might not, so you can tell them.
Yeah, apparently it was a corridor and they were in there, either they were or somebody was, and the clap came from that onto the record. My brother might say it didn't, so I'll be careful. I'll have to be careful.
I'm sure, yeah.
Fabulous.
But he didn't. He wasn't working in the studio for some reason, and he had the idea of getting the echo in the corridor.
I think that's what happened anyway then, didn't it, with music? It wasn't as grand as it is now, to put it together.
Oh, yeah, but it worked. It worked.
Yeah. Bring back the top 20.
Yeah.
Every Tuesday, everybody jittering, wondering what's going to be. Not because I was Dave's sister, but because I wanted to know what was number one, because I wanted to go out and buy it. So all that's gone now.
Hasn't it? Yeah. They used to play them on a Sunday, didn't you? The top 20. We used to record it off the cassette, off the radio, and we used to use that as the backdrop to our parties.
Oh,
really? We didn't go back buy the record.
That's fabulous. For us, it was the top 20 came out Tuesday. You got it announced slowly, going down to, and the top 5 will be after this, and 4 and 3 and 2. And we have a new number 1. That's how it was announced to me about 'Cause I Love You. And then Wednesday was Top of the Pops, because they recorded it then. And then it was played on Thursday.
Oh, yeah, it was. Yeah.
Recorded Wednesday for... Belief makes me think that Noddy sang, but the music was recorded. If you go back to Top of the Pops in those days, you didn't see wires hanging all over the place, did you?
No.
It was recorded, but it was still them playing.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Well, even the old days of the 60s with Thank You Lucky Stars and all that.
Yeah.
And the Beatles were on, and you could tell John Lennon, he was singing to the record, because in the middle of it, he just shut his mouth.
He would do that, Oh, great times. Great times, they were.
And the next thing I want to ask you about, living on the estate, is, I didn't know this, but Dave lived there for quite a while before he moved, didn't he? It's in the book. It was 1972. He was still there. He'd had number 1 hits. He had a Jensen outside with Yob one on.
Yeah.
And what I want to know is, how did your neighbours react to all that?
They didn't. They were exactly the same all the way through. I was at home as well. He got married on July the 23rd, 1973, and I married Dave on December the 1st. 1973, so we were only a few months apart. So our parents lost both of us, but he went from our home to the one in Solihull that he bought, next to the girls' school.
Yeah, the girls' school.
Mistakenly.
You remember that film? Yeah.
It was funny, that was. Yeah. Really, it was just incredible, because he didn't know beautiful, long, can't remember the name of the avenue. It was an avenue, and of course at the end of it you thought, maybe that's a huge posh house, But it wasn't, you know, David lived on the last one on the right, and next to it was the girls' school. Great. The girls clambering up the... And the headmaster coming, girls, get down, come along in. Great fun.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and I'm fascinated by the story about the kidnapping. You got to tell. If you want to. You can
as simply as I know it, I was outside. I had a twin pram bought me. And I was allowed to go out with the girl next door, older than me. She had a pram, so we lived in a corner of a cul-de-sac. So from what my dad said, because Mum and Dad both worked full-time, and that went on to create what we could do. What Mum and Dad saved money for us to follow our own interests, and for that I'm immensely proud and forever grateful to my parents, who sadly aren't with us. But so we walked around, the girl next door and I walked around. Apparently Dad was looking out, getting his Sunday best. You always put Sunday best on a Sunday, you know. He was going to pay the lady that was looking after us during the week. And he looked again. She had gone, her pram had gone, my pram was there, but I'd gone. A very quick thing, I don't remember it. I remember a lady with what looked like a stewardess's hat. And every time I enter an aeroplane, now I start getting fretful about it. Isn't it silly all these years on? But what happened? I disappeared. Mum shouted downstairs. My mum was called Dorothy. Dorothy, is Caroline? No, go and see Mrs. Chapman, see if she's there. She was out with Janet.
Oh.
She went round, she says, no, I needed Janet in, so I thought Carol had come in.
Yeah.
Gone.
Oh my God.
The police told my mother when this woman walked into the police station in the middle of Wolverhampton town centre, which is far too many miles for me to walk, that she'd found me in the centre. The police told Mum that she should be very grateful, this lady, but of course Mum's was, well, who is this woman? They never took a name, nothing. But thank goodness on the bus, because she boarded a bus, she didn't have cars in those days, with me, and word has it now that more than likely she would have been either a midwife or something dressed in a uniform.
Yes.
Which would seem okay to pick a child up.
Yeah. So
right.
Yeah.
But it was so quickly done. But I'll give you for instance about how get together you are in this estate. Mr. Jones, gentleman who lived backing onto us, you know, fences backed onto each other and you could talk to each other in the back. He was on the bus as well, and this child was crying, and he looked up, and apparently he said it was me, and he came over and he said, Carol Hill crying, she doesn't cry. And that was it. That was all that I was told. And that they feel must have made her get off the bus and take me to the station and give me over. Because it was in the time when children, sadly, were being taken, not for the badness that goes on today, but nearly that, to sell them on to rich people, maybe abroad, that couldn't have children. Because I still go back to Wolverhampton to see my brother. He moved to Solihull, but he gained his... We stood in the playground of our school, our senior school, Highfields Comprehensive in Wolverhampton, on Warstones, and we looked up a hill. And at the top of the hill, there were all these beautiful detached houses. And he said, because I was a first year when he was a fourth year, and he said, I'm going to have one of them. And I went, of course you are. And the same with the roller. Yeah. We were sitting on the curb, and we used to throw little stones down the grill and hear them plop at the...
Oh, yeah.
Sad games, isn't it? But it was innocent, nothing. And something came whirring by, and we looked up, and it was a Rolls Royce. And my brother said, I want one of those. And I went, yeah, of course you do. And he did, both.
Absolutely. I told that, me and Annette reminisced on that. Do you remember, because our David, your husband, he actually bought the Rolls Royce before.
He bought it here.
Dave.
In Hull. He bought it in Hull, and we took it for a ride to Hornsea,
So you,
And we
you
went
were there,
Yep.
yeah.
We took it, before we took it down to David, we took it for a ride. I believe it was blue, like a dark blue. But Rolls-Royce, I think they took it off my brother when he took it down, and they made it into gold and oyster and put great lamb's wool carpet in it. It was lovely.
Oh, I bet it was.
And his number plate,
Yob one.
Yob one.
Yob one.
Yob one, it doesn't get much worse than that for a number
No,
plate.
it doesn't, does it?
But it makes it more roller, but he did it. Yeah, but you know, our Dave's never lost it. He's never been anything but Dave Hill.
No, I know. Yeah.
He's right what he says.
Well,
in the book.
you can I can't recommend this book enough, because all the way through it, it's, you know, it shines through his character.
Yeah.
And his humour.
Yeah.
It is Dave Hill all the way through it. You know,
Yeah.
it's as you imagine Dave Hill to be.
Yeah.
So okay, I'll leave it for that. Just get that book, people.
Yeah,
So,
please
it's great.
do. I was with him last week. He's a bit older and a bit more like I am, but you know, that's all right. We're supposed to be.
Yeah. Thanks for that then, Carol. It's been
lovely.
unique insights to
It's been lovely.
Great blog.
That was really good. I learned so much about Dave and the family life and
Yeah.
stuff. But I love what you said about the council estate and
Oh.
how you didn't have much, but really you had everything.
I-
Love, companionship, and much more social structure that we don't seem to have lost these days.
Yeah.
You know, people don't meet as much, and like me and Mike here, we were best mates from being 14. We used to go to each other's house, sausage and chips and a few things a day. It was good fun. It was fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, we didn't. There's too much competition. That started when I was grown up. The competition started. Nike for the children and all that. We couldn't afford that. Me and Dave, my husband, we couldn't afford that for the kids. They were given what they, and it wasn't just that. It was everything else. And now it's so sad to see families going out and sitting at a table in a restaurant or a table outside.
Mobile phones out and stuff. And
They don't speak.
Yeah,
They sit down and I look and I think, are you ordering a drink or saying hello to each other? I don't know. Don't.
And I wonder if these great bands like Slade came out of this environment because it was like that, and it was, you know, fabulous.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to ask you was, and I did ask you this last Sunday, did Dave play the guitar a lot at home when he was in the family environment? Just because I did, and like playing it in impromptu, sat at the table and everything, and
Yeah,
just,
yeah, whenever he wanted to.
yeah. And what I was going to ask you also, you said about Chaz Chandler.
Yeah.
You said that was the rocket ship at the time, the big.
If Chaz was alive and here today, because sadly he died too early, if he was, he would say the same as he said to me at Top of the Pops. I was so privileged to be able to go there and sit in their dressing room and meet all the stars. It was fabulous. And I remember saying to Chaz, it's thanks to you that Slade got where they were. I can't tell you the word he used, but he said it was rubbish. But he didn't say rubbish, yeah. He said they would have got there without me. But he was their rocket. It just took off so beautifully. You need someone to show you, I think, someone who knows the ropes, and what better than him.
He did a great job at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I personally think we're just so talented. It's just Dave on guitar, so much attack.
Yeah,
much attack
thank
on
you.
the guitar, and he really went for it. And I don't think you see that as much in today's younger guitarists. When I first saw Dave play live, I thought, wow, you know.
Oh,
The guy nearly knocked the strings off the guitar fretboard.
it was a dream come true. I suppose that's how he always felt. I think he still does, even when he's on stage
Yeah,
now.
so much attack and
Yeah.
feel.
Yeah.
Key thing, and I think that feel comes from
Yeah.
sometimes the background that we talked about as well. That
Well, our school background wasn't quite so good because we both went for recorder lessons. You had a little recorder and go for your recorder lessons, yeah. And I was taken on, and our headmistress, I won't tell you her name because I might get done for it, but she's probably not here. She said, no, you will never play a note. I know because I saw her when we left school, and I can remember shouting, Carol Hill! I want you to tell your brother I never did say that. Well, I looked at her and I thought, you did, because I was there. She did say, you will never play a note. I think the rest is history.
You didn't carry on then?
Pardon?
You didn't carry on? You did
Oh, respect was always there.
Yeah,
With us kids,
okay.
you know, we didn't. No.
Yeah. But
But
the
he
other
proved
question, if you had to put in one nutshell, what was your happiest memory of Slade, seeing them live? Have you got a memory of that at all? Happiest concert kind of thing? Oh, they're all good.
Well,
That's
I'm going to
all.
have probably my proudest moment because it was my very first moment, and it was a very sad moment as well. I came back off holiday in 1973, and my friend on the plane said, I think you will marry that chap you met. Well, the chap I met on holiday who came back to this fishing village called Hull. That's because if you lived in Wolverhampton, that's what it seemed like. Yeah. All I could see was, I said he lives in a fishing village, but that was who became my husband in 1973, Dave Harvey. And the other thing was, she said, we're on the plane together, I think you will marry the chap you've met. And I went, don't be silly, a fishing village up north. She said, and I think you're David, because she was dating Don. So there was Don and Angela and Dave and Jan, his girlfriend. And they were going to America a couple of weeks afterwards. And be about 3 days, we got back, we drove Don's Bentley from Gatwick Airport to the hotel and dropped it off to get a taxi back to Earl's Court. It was the Earl's Court gig in July, I believe, June 1973, and it was massive. I met so many stars. I remember Lulu coming up to me. That was lovely because she's around my height. That was lovely looking across at somebody. But that was probably the proudest moment, seeing so many people.
And your brother.
And the unfortunate thing as well was the car wasn't working quite right as we were driving to the hotel. And I said to her, tell Don when you see him that's just check it. She said, I will, you know. And I don't know whether she did, because we got back home the day after. I got back home the day after I went on the train. She came back with Don after they'd done a BBC broadcast. My brother was coming back with the group as well. And she was killed in Don's Bentley.
I remember it vaguely. I do remember it.
Yeah, they were going to a nightclub. She rang home, and home telephones in those days were one, if you were lucky, at the bottom of your stairs on a wire.
Oh, yeah,
you picked them up and answered. You didn't have all these other phones hanging around. So yes, the phone was ringing during the night, and I thought it was bells I'd been listening to, but it wasn't. It was somebody telling Dad that an accident had happened, and she was killed, unfortunately.
So sad.
And Don was very poorly. Then he got better, fortunately. But with the sadness was the most amazing evening. And even though I've been to plenty, so many gigs, been so privileged to see so much of that, of my brother. We all grew up with very little, so you know, I mean, you had the hierarchy, of course, that had lots of money, and there was beautiful homes, but we were all great.
Come from a great upbringing.
Yeah.
Fantastic warmth, all that social structure, fantastic. And I think a lot of it's sadly lost, as you mentioned earlier. People don't talk anymore. We're not being old and fuddy. I'm not being old and fuddy and duddy. It's just
it's true.
It's true. But I can't wait. Mike's promised I can read this.
Oh,
Can't wait to read it. It's got a chapter called "Let's Call It Quits," and that's one of the songs. I love the guitar solo on that, and I wore the record out doing that one. All you had then was pulling the needle back on the record. And Dave, I wore that record out trying to learn that. If you watched it, Carol. But so great to see you again,
and
Carol.
you too.
And give you a little hug. Brilliant.
Thank you.
I'm going to do this with the pan and then I'll put my pan over there.
Oh my God.
Doesn't matter. 1, 2, 3, 4.
No, that's for
Doing
him.
an intro.
Sorry.
1, 2, 3, 4. Right, today we're all in the cabin again, having a beer. Stella today. Having a beer and we thought Carol likes Because I Love You so much, and she mentioned it about Dave and that, so we're going to have a go at it. It might not be perfect again. Someone's pushing me out the way there. But here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Stop, there's no sound coming out.
Oh shit, your bass is off.
Get that.
Yeah,
We've got an outtake.
you got an outtake.
That was good though, still, that was good.
We'll do it again.
How did you send this?
I won't be turning him off because I was buzzing.
Alright.
1, 2, 3, 4. Right.
How could you know the intro's okay?
Yeah, later, but sit down. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're doing the talk intro.
We got that already.
Oh, I've done it already, haven't
Yeah.
I? So, okay. So now we're going to start.
There's another one.
This is so much fun. Right, now we're going to do the song.
Right.
Are we?
1, 2, 3, 4. But we can get it better than that.
Oh, yeah, you were right in front of me.
One more.
You were right in front of me all the way through. I'm like that.
What was that?
Yeah, all the way. Yeah.
So that was pretty good, that.
Yeah.
Only the lead guitar is fucked up.
No, I didn't.